Has the story of the Biafran War been told enough in books written by Nigerians, in your opinion?
No, it hasn't. I hope more stories are told, and I hope the horrors are highlighted so people would get wise, people would learn what to avoid, people would understand that the tragedies of war, one can't describe really what war does to lives, to nations. It's just horrendous that people can't be reminded enough of the horrors of war and of the fact that those horrors should be avoided.
When you compare the movie with the book, what are your thoughts? Did the movie showcase the book well enough?
I think it.
Which was better in your opinion?
Well, I think the movie showcased it. It has to be a distillation because it has to be within a certain time frame. If the book were produced as the book, I think we'd need hours and hours. So it has to be a distillation. It has to be a perspective of someone. There are characters that I enjoyed enormously, like this garrulous woman who was Olanna's neighbor during the war. I can't remember Mama, whoever she was called, but she quarreled a lot. She had a quick tongue, very interesting character, very forthright. And she only appeared briefly, I think, to ask if Odenibo could attend to her child in the film because she'd heard Odenibo was a doctor and she didn't understand that Odenibo was an academic and not a medical doctor. So that's bound to happen. Some other characters come to mind, and that's me, obviously. So everyone would have a perspective. It's bound to be a distillation. It can't be the whole. It's vast.
And how well did Chiwetel and the rest of the cast too?
Yeah, he's Chewy, of course.
How well did they perform?
Chiwetel is Chewy, of course. If he no be excellent, if he be Chewy. He would say that the person who is called constantly does something. So he carried it off, obviously, the passion, the fury. When usually a gentleman, but when he feels strongly about the issues of the day, and he has Miss Adebayo with him and Okoma, then he can rage about they are doing this, they are doing that over there, foreign affairs, etc. And of course, when he learned that Richard had been intimate with Olanna, he behaved as any village man would do. He went to his house and warned him to stay away from him. You're trespassing on my property, for goodness sake. So that wasn't an occasion for civility, and he wasn't civil. I think he would have engaged in a good old-fashioned fight, man to man, and in an instant would have cast off that whole thing about being an academic, a lecturer, whatever. He would have taken him on man to man, but he warned Richard in a way that showed he wouldn't brook nonsense. And of course had Mama Onyeko Nwenu. Lovely, yeah? We think of her as a sophisticate, but he carried off the village woman's role. Quite a number of others, quite like Gloria Anozie Young, who played my wife there, Auntie Feka. That's another issue. We were the poor relations, but that's all right.
Thank you very much for coming on Channels Book Club. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
You're welcome, and thanks for having me. I'm delighted.